So I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the new Surface 3. This $499 price point to me is a lot more reasonable than the $799 of the Surface Pro, because if you add on things like the type cover for an additional $130 and the pen, you're around $650, yes, but you're still under $1,000. Which I would say for the vast majority of consumers, that's more than adequate. If we go to the Buy tab, we can see here it says, with the ability to run desktop software, a USB port, and an integrated kickstand, Surface 3 is the perfect productivity device for school, home, and on the go. Includes Office 365 Personal. Now, a lot of people in the blogosphere have said that this is essentially going to be a big hit with businesses. I don't disagree on that at all. In fact, I suspect that this could erode Apple's business opportunities with the iPad. And I must emphasize that this is before any formal announcement about the iPad Pro. At the time of this this is at the time of this video, the iPad Pro or iPad Air Plus or whatever it's going to be called is still vaporware. It's still in the rumor mill. There have been leaks every now and then that pop up, but until I see it, I'm going to, hold judgment. But the fact that this is literally a full PC in a tablet form, and that is something that has always intrigued me about the Surface concept in general. What's beautiful about this is that this is the first non-Pro Surface to run full Windows, which means if you need a laptop replacement but you want a tablet, this is a very, very nice contender. If we go down here, I'm going to skip over all of this. You can take a look at it for yourself. Just Google Surface 3, and you can get all the gobbledygook that you want to. So here are the dimensions. 10.52 inches by 7.36 inches by 0.34 inches. Now, that is a bit bigger than the iPad Air, but you have a bigger screen. You've got a full USB port. In fact, this is actually one of the few PCs, the other one being the HP Chromebook 11, at least the first generation. I don't know about the new generation, but the first generation Chromebook 11, to allow you to charge your PC over micro USB. That's big because so many people these days carry a smartphone of some kind, and the vast majority of the lower end market that the Surface 3 is targeting use Android. Mainly because you can get an Android device for free as opposed to having to pony up $200 or $300 for an iPhone. And for the target demographic, the under $1,000 market, that kind of market, at least in my experience, would usually be the kind to get their phone for free, which in this case usually means Android. So they can use their Android phone charger to charge their PC. Granted, it'd be something of a trickle charge, but it's still available if they need it. So that's a really nice feature there. At 1.37 pounds, again, 10.8 inch, clear type display. If I'm correct, this would be a beautiful device to carry on an airplane. And the reason is because the last time I flew, which was around July of last year, the TSA's rules were that if the device was under 12 inches, and also if they were a tablet, especially if they were a tablet, you could do it with a netbook, but it wouldn't necessarily be as convenient as it would be with a tablet. You could take that tablet and put it in the seat pocket in front of you during takeoff and landing. So for frequent flyers, this would be an indispensable business tool because this is a full PC in the form of a tablet. And if all you need is the hardware that this has, which if we take a look here, 64 gigs of storage with 2 gigs of RAM or 128 with 4 gigs, I would personally go for the 128 with 4 gigs if I were in the market for something like this. Because 64 gigs, you take what Windows sucks out of that, and you don't really have an awful lot left. Plus, you only have about 2 gigs of RAM with an Atom processor, which, as we see here, a quad-core Intel Atom X7 Z8700, or Z8700 if you live across the pond. This combination, I would definitely recommend the 128 with 4 gigs. It'd be a lot smoother experience. If you need Zoom text or you need Magic, I would highly recommend talking with the people over at AI Squared or Freedom Scientific before investing in the lower end Surface. And the reason I say that is because last time I talked to either Freedom Scientific or Magic, or AI Squared, one of the two of them told me that the magnification software would not run smoothly on an Intel Atom. Now, I have not tried this for myself, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that they know what they're talking about in the sense of the software is very complex. It's very robust, very sophisticated. So on an Intel Atom, I could definitely see you running into problems if you were trying to run that plus something like Skype, especially with 2 gigs of RAM. It would slow to a crawl. The Y802.11 ABGNAC, Bluetooth 4.0. Again, we have the full-sized USB 3.0 port, mini display port, micro SD card reader, which is really nice because my video camera uses micro SD. Smartphones these days use micro SD. I think standard SD is slowly but surely on the way out. Micro USB charging, again, really nice in terms of being able to bring your cell phone charger, or if a cord snaps, you can go down to your local Best Buy. You don't have to invest in a proprietary charger. It's very universal. Headset jack, cover port. One of the other great things about this is it runs Windows 8.1. So again, full Windows in a 10-inch tablet. And it also includes 1 year of Office 365 Personal with OneDrive. Again, perfect, I think, for the under $1,000 market, which for the most part is students and families, which I think this is going to be a big hit. 1 year hardware, pretty much all standard stuff. This is the charger here. It looks kind of like an Apple charger, except again, micro USB. You can get a cover for it. It's got the kickstand. The only downside with the Surface, aside from the lower end hardware getting an Intel Atom versus a Core i5 and the smaller screen, the other downside you have to be aware of with the Surface 3 versus the Surface Pro 3 is the kickstand is not infinitely adjustable. It's fixed position only. But at the same time, you're saving several $100s when all is said and done for a decently equipped model. Plus, I mean, in this, if you are a Zoom Text or Magic user, again, contact the distributors of that software before purchasing your Surface, because I don't know how well something like Zoom Text would run on an Atom. I believe they said it wouldn't, but again, double check and make sure. If you have a Zoom Text keyboard or a large print keyboard, you can easily hook that up. I'm sure they're going to get a docking station. This is not a children's toy per se. This does truly have the ability to replace your computer. Now, will it? I would say it depends on your usage scenario, and it depends on the power you need. For regular Surface 3, I see the market being somebody who does social networking, but also depends on something like iTunes, or depends on Microsoft Office to write for the literacy class. In that case, Surface, go for it. If you need something higher end like Photoshop, or you need, like I said, possibly the assistive software, then you might want to go for the Surface Pro. And once again, I put a huge asterisk, make absolutely sure that your software is going to run before buying. But if it is, I mean, you can't go wrong with $599, 128 gigs of RAM, storage, and 4 gigs of RAM. For the everyday consumer, I would say that that's plenty. It'll be interesting to see what the rest of the journalist world thinks. But so far, I was taken aback with the Surface Pro 3. The only reason I didn't get it to replace the MacBook Air was because I wanted a bigger screen than that. Otherwise, if I was still in the market for a system, the Surface 3 would definitely be a contender, and I think is definitely going to be a hot seller in the under $1,000 PC market. But what do you guys think? Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.